Fair enough, not an issue. Let me just increase the volume once. Okay. And let me just first of all log into the okay before we log into remote. Okay. We just start recording. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Abi,
Yes, Ben. Yeah, okay.
can I show you how I usually log maybe your things alright? Can I show you just honestly?
Yeah. After at the end of the class, let us take all these things as well. That is the case. Let this on, Ben.
And I want to know how I see that you modified the starting of the lesson of today. I don't know how long the lesson is going to take over.
Uh,
Or 1 hour and a half or 2 hours because I was thinking that we will be starting by 3:30 p.m. so that will be 8 p.m. for your time. I see that could you postpone the hour?
just 1 minute. Then actually, you are not audible properly. Just give me a second. Ben, tell me. So, yeah, yeah. Tell me. Actually,
I
you
see.
are not audible yet.
First, I saw that who just sent me a message to postpone the hour of the lesson because it was said the lesson was programmed scheduled on 3 just 8 p.m. in our usual time. But after she sent me a message that the lesson will be in the 8:30 p.m. in New York usual time. So that I don't know how long the lesson is going to take long. So that 1 hour and a half or 2 hours today.
No, it will always be 2 hours.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I hope you are not having any issue as such.
No, because
Yeah.
she just informed me just 3 or 4 hours ago, and also with message. Anyway,
No, the class will always take up for 2 hours because you are guys are on weekend, and due to that we get a limited connect. That's the reason we'll take it for 2 hours every time we connect. Okay.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yes. Okay. So yes. So guys, the last time what we had did is we had gone through a lot of things related to this thing. We had seen a lot of configurations as well and concepts as well. We had seen the whole org structure related settings and everything. We even see how we are going to go to the client and taking the inputs for your on what basis and what details you are going to be going ahead and creating the various elements which are basically in the NM org structure. Okay. Now, once in an implementation project, I remember a lot of activities keep on going together. Okay, so in the requirement gathering phase, apart from your, I mean, once you are through with the org structure or once you have initiated the org structure related configurations, requirement gathering, there is one more thing which you are supposed to be doing. Okay, we would also look at something called as thing is called as material type, okay, and material groups. Now there are two concepts over here which are used. Okay, material types and material groups. We'll see in depth both of them. What is how I mean what is the basically the concept of material typing and what is the concept of material group, and what all details and what all things you are supposed to be initiating with the client in order to get these things. Okay, so material type, if we have to go ahead and define it in some words, is it is it is an element which defines, okay, which defines the kind of material. Okay, for example, you, in this in our Exxon's chemical, okay, which we are working for, Exxon's chemical company for which we are implementing, you, it is a chemical plant. There could be in every industry, I mean in every kind of organization, you would always found, as I have told you, direct procurement and indirect procurement. So there would be materials related to kinds of materials related to direct procurement. There would be kinds of material related to indirect procurement. There would be kind of material, kind of purchasing related to direct, indirect. So every, remember, as an MM consultant, you have to classify that your basically area of working is going to be with guys who are for direct and who are with indirect. You would always find these guys, and you would always be interacting with the stakeholders of these guys. Okay, so as we go ahead and take the inputs, the requirement gathering planning sessions you have to conduct, and you have to take inputs for what material types are being used. So indirect procurement you would normally find, let's say suppose this thing in our industry itself. Okay, as we had taken, there would be Dettol. As I had taken the example of, there would be we are manufacturing nothing but we are buying isopropanol, which is one of the which is one of which is one of the many raw materials which we are having, which means there would be raw material kind of things, kind of material. There would be packaging materials. Okay, so there would be a packaging material type. Okay, um, isopropanol. So mm, bodies. Okay, then there would be on the basis of this, there would be production. I mean, using these various. I mean, just I'm giving a little one example. But there would be in a product in a company, there are hundreds and lakhs of raw materials which they are using, producing a lot of different things. They would be doing production. There would be production cycle and everything. On the basis of that, they would be producing something called as finished goods. So there would be finished goods. Apart from finished goods, in production cycles, okay, there are something called as junk materials which are produced, which we call as byproducts, which are used in one of the other kind of different kind of processes and everything, or which are scrapped and we get something related to that. Then there would be semi-finished goods. Okay, semi-finished goods. Then there would be your let's say suppose this is by far a little bit of number of materials you would see, I mean, from the production guide and from your raw indirect procurement guide. So you would get input from them that we have such kind of bifurcations, we have such kind of materials. So on the process level, you have to take an understanding from them in order to have them give them the input that such kind of material type. So whenever you go from them, remember every client would always ask you first thing that that you are the consultant. You suggest what kind of classifications we should have. So when you go ahead, show them, I mean, explain them that these kinds of classifications we normally have in direct procurement. Okay, so that they would have a better understanding for that. And remember, we in fact they would be knowing their business more than us. Remember, we are just SAP or ERP consultants. They are actual people who are working in the business, who are actually procuring things. So they would always be knowing things better than us. Okay, it's just a matter of us telling them that, and in an ERP we take bifurcations like this so that a better reporting can happen, so a better process mapping can all these happen. They expect these things from us, that we give them input as a consultant. Okay, so we won't be going. Don't go ahead and portray it like you give us. We'll configure it. We'll tell them that this is things. This is the things we would be giving to you. If you, I mean, you have to evaluate whether these things are proper as per your standards. Okay, coming to the material types. These would be majorly you would get from inputs from the direct. Now there is always an indirect one as well. So from indirect, you would see consumable materials. Okay, so indirect are nothing but consumables. Okay, they are using materials. They would be storing it as and when plant it is required in the plant. They would be taking. So indirect normally don't take a lot of material types. There would be something called as consumables and some other type of, or I would say generic consumables which are used for every by every department, and there would be other kind of consumables such as production consumables like gloves, gowns of the hats and all these things which are used in your by the people who are there at the plant and everything. Okay, getting my point, guys? I mean, are you following the kind of logic or kind of things we go ahead and tell them and in order to initiate the discussions and everything? Getting my point, guys? Sounds
Yeah,
good to
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw that you write generics in the instead of the
Yes.
generic.
Yeah. Yeah. Generic consumables. Okay. So this would be production consumables. Then there could be other kind of material types. So remember, in any kind of industry, a lot of consumables are used by guys of plant and this engineering department. Okay, so they keep their spares and all these things for the machineries which they use. Okay, so engineering consumables, they say. Okay, engineering consumables. So all the kind of spare parts and everything which are normally used. So this is what I'm giving you a bifurcation which you could normally find in any kind of industry which is production oriented. If you go for healthcare and everything, there would be something called as hospital supplies and everything. So industry to industry, things would get changed. But you have to keep in mind, okay. So a hospital is not a production intensive something. Okay, so you won't find such raw material, packaging material, finished good byproducts, semi-finished. But you would find a lot of things related to consumables, indirect procurement, hospital supplies, and in within the hospital supplies, they would have a lot of different kinds of materials and everything. Okay, so that you have to like all these things, every related thing, we fetch fetch from them. We try to take the input from the current TRP in the requirement gathering stage. So always remember when the requirement gathering phase, even though you are not aware of what they are telling you or explaining you, you have to ask them, please provide us the details of the current TRP, how the mapping and everything. Ask them to create the document, provide it to you. On the basis of that, you will take your time and you try to, like, you have to be always in the leading role when you go ahead and do a consulting. I mean, uh, people don't normally teach all these things, but this is how I actually go ahead and do a consulting project, an implementation project. So I take details as much details you can take from them. Take that. Okay.
So is there a KDS file for this as well?
Okay, yes, it would be. So this is gonna be a this sheet two. Remember, this sheet two won't be there. Okay. Once you have taken input from them, I'll be adding a sheet over here for material type. So we'll be like kind of showing them that in this KDS will always be a single sheet wherein you would be adding every related thing. So plant, what plant you would be configuring, what material types you would be configuring, what material group, what vendor type, what vendor, what vendor account group, and then what PO type, PR type, everything would come in this particular document itself. Okay.
No, the KDS file will be different, huh? Like
No,
for
no,
the organization structure, there will be different file, and for material
no,
move,
no, no. There would be single file, and everything would be added in sheets over here. Okay.
it
So after this, I mean, when we are gonna be configuring, so
it's
as I'm
no,
gonna
no, no. It's just we are just practicing right now. But in real life scenario, there will be different files or what?
single file.
Single file.
Yes, single file. There would always be a single file. Single. Remember, KDS is is for KDS is a document which would enlist, which would come into picture when you as a consultant are going to be doing configuration. Okay, so you would be like what we did yesterday, I mean on the other day, we enlisted all the plants which we are going to be creating with all the details and everything. We would be explaining them that on the basis of requirement gathering, we this is the KDS file we have created. All various, I mean after the all the sessions, you would be having all the relevant details which you would be like kind of configuring in the system. Okay, now you have to go them and explain them that these are the plants which we are going to be creating. These are the storage locations as per the input. These are the purchase orders. These are the purchase groups and everything. And you would be giving it to them that yes, these are the configurable elements which you would be configuring. Please provide a sign off that we are going to be, shall we go ahead with the configuration. So after the sign off, in the realization phase, you would be doing a configuration for that. Getting my point? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, okay. Now, this is generic, generic consumables, which we have seen production engineering. You would see such things, engineering and spares. We call it as engineering and spares consumables. Then, when you go to some any kind of industry, you would also see something called as promotional materials. For example, like promotional materials, as in the things which we give, like we procure from outside and we give it to our people, or we give it to our clients and everything. That, for example, in a pharmaceutical company, a lot of materials the industries procure and give it to the doctors as their with their branding and all these things. So that is also one of the kind of products which we would be seeing in sales intensive related industries. Okay, so you would see such kind of these things as well. It's not that you would always see all these things, but you can see such things. So you can all these things which we are doing is to open the discussions with them. Okay, so remember, whenever you go for requirement gathering, the first initiation would be from your end, even though we are the ones who wants the requirement from them. But they would when client would ask that you provide us, I mean you should be giving a little bit of understanding what kind of things we normally do in SAP. For example, there is a session which has been, there would be dedicated sessions for plant, storage location, purchase or purchase group. There would be dedicated session for material types and everything. So you would be explaining them that what is a material type and all these things. You would be explaining them that this is how we normally go ahead and see. And on the basis of that, you open discussion with them. They would be giving the details to you, and on the basis of that, they expect you that in the KDS and in the BBP, you would be showing that such things we would be adding it to, and post that, as I have said, KDS would be signed up, so they would be checking, yes, this is what they're going to be creating and all these. Okay, so promotional materials we have seen. There is also one more material type which you would normally see. Okay, so such this material type is nothing but we call it a scrap material. Okay, why we take this scrap material as a type? So normally what happens in the chemical industry, we got, I mean we normally bring a lot of what do I say, we buy materials. It would come in drums and all these things. So all these drums and all these things actually are let's suppose I bought a 1,000 liters of 1,000 liter of isopropanol. Okay, so it would come in very huge. It has come in 10 drums. Okay, 10 drums of 100 liter each. Okay, 100 liter each. Okay, so these 10 grams. So material isopropyl is nothing but the material which has been stored within these drums. So these drums, okay. Now they would be, as and when the processes and everything progress, the production process and everything progress. These drums and all these things which we have received from vendors. So these are kind of junk materials. Okay, so in order to it could in order to capture the process related to junk material. Let's say suppose we are selling the junk materials, the junk drums and everything. So in order to to a sale process of these junk materials. We need to have a code within SAP as well. So such materials, in order to raise such materials, okay, for which we have received from vendors, and we have to kind of scrap them by selling them or by incinerating them and all these things, we have to have the code, and that's the reason we have something called a scrap materials as well. So normally, I mean, sales guys also normally profess that scrap material type should be taken. We also take such material types. Okay, getting my point, guys. So scrap material is
Yes.
one of the material types as well.
Just defining a scrap material in few words, I can find it as the conservative way as you explained to define it just in few words. Scrap material what
Come again, man. Actually, I guess your mic is very close. That's the reason it's, yeah.
I say scrap material, how can we define it just in few words?
You want to you want me to define it over here? Uh, yeah, material type taken to capture to create the junk materials which we have in the industry, so that we can capture the various process related to it. For example, sale of scrap and sale of scrap materials, or incinerating of scrap materials and all these things. Of scrap materials, etc. So it is just a type which has been taken uh, in order uh, it is just a type which is taken in order to capture the process. So every industry has a different kind of, I mean, in some places, as it depends upon material to material. So some junk materials would get, I mean, there is a treatment plant in industries which could be used to go ahead and kind of burn it down and incinerate it. In some cases, we can basically sell those scrap and all these things. So all these things, without having a code, normally the industries don't want to go ahead and execute and capture the process, and that's the reason they go ahead and take the scrap materials as well. Getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what a normal bifurcation of material types you would be getting. Okay. Let us go ahead and take a material type. We call it as material type description. Now remember, okay, this is nothing but a description. Okay. For example, now remember, this is a description of the material. This is nothing but the material type. Now, as if you see, as we used to have plant, and there used to be a SAP plant ID. Similarly, every material would have a every material type would have a 4 character material type ID. Okay, we call it as material type. Okay, or you can call it as a material type ID. So this is material type description, and this is 4 character material type. So we create when we go ahead and create material types in the system, we have to go ahead and create a 4 character key in order to kind of show that this is a, I mean, for example, material type RM. Okay, this is ZXRM. Okay, let us say ZXPM, ZXFG. Okay, ZXBYD, BY, ZXSG, semi-finished, ZXGC, generic consumables. Okay, ZX PC, production consumables, ZX EC, engineering consumables, ZX PM, promotional material, ZX SC. Now remember, a lot of, except for the plant. Okay, remember, mati all the various things except for the organization structure, all the various things in normally in any implementation, we take we always start from Z. Okay. For example, we would be configuring a lot of different things. Okay. We would be configuring material types. We would be configuring vendor group, vendor type. Let me just say vendor types. We would be configuring PR type, PO types. Normally, consultants, okay, across the industry, it is a practice that we take as we started at Z, which because it defines that it is a custom. I mean, custom as in it is a client defined thing. Okay, it is not a SAP standard defined thing. It is a client defined thing. Okay, this is a industry practice. It's not compulsory that we go ahead and do this, but it is an industry practice. Okay, that we would be starting from Z normally. Okay, now I have told you about material type, and we would be creating material types as well. Okay, these would be the material types, and they would be having material type ideas in SAP as these things. Okay, now material type is not just remember it's a very it is material type
Um,
is
but
a
Abby,
yes
can I ask you a question? Maybe I may have heard it. I'm to understand what you said. You said that all normal material type are we starting with the Z. Is that
yes we
that
norm
means
we normally start yeah tell me
because me the two those that all starting with Z are custom
yes
material that are not that define no standard. Is starting by Z.
yeah the types which we would be defining we would be starting with Z normally. Okay, yeah, tell me the doubt related to this thing.
I was thinking that the ones starting with Z and not are custom, not standard.
Yes. That is the industry practice because so after you have gone, okay. So basically, system when we go into the system, you would also see that SAP has also delivered some material types. SAP suggests that as we do for plant, as we do for storage location, as we do for purchase, or I mean, as we do for plant and other org structures, you should always go ahead and copy it. You create your material types as per the client requirement and go ahead and name it with Z, start it with Z. Y normally in some places you would find Y, but you have to keep it constant that across the project, if everything in other modules are being defined as Z, you are supposed to be starting things with Z only. So we call it as Z. Everything which starts with Z, every consultant and going forward, even the product, even your support project support people who would be coming after our implementation, they would also be knowing that these are Z, which means Z are the things which are defined by which are defined by the implementation team, and these are our custom related objects as per the things which are custom related means this is a custom configuration, not a standard one. Getting my point?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So uh, now material type is not just uh, a part of just defining a material type. Remember, material type has a lot of other significance. Okay, there is a lot of there is a whole lot of things you would be able to control at material type. Okay, so the most we as and when things would be coming, we would be seeing various related settings which can be done at the material type when we do go ahead and do a configuration. The most important thing, okay, that you can that material type controls in SAP. Okay, we call it as controlling parameter. If anyone asks you in any of the interview, what are the controlling parameters at material type, you always have to say the range number ranges of the material. Okay, uh, field selection. We call it as field selection, or you can just. I mean, I'll come to when I explain you and I'll show you in the system. All these things would get clear. Field selection and views. Okay, views. of the material. Now, I know these things are not going to sound very clear as
For
of
that,
now, but
so
when
that
I go,
so that
yeah,
actions are controlling controlling parameters. That's the number of the range that you have to put that the material has to
yes,
pass. Where we can
have
find the field we
at
can find it and the view that we are going to select for the
yes,
material.
yes. A lot of things would get clear in some time. You are going on the right path. Okay. Now, before I go to let us before I go to this thing, okay, let's. So, what do we mean by this thing? Okay, number ranges. Okay, remember. Um, I mean, I know. I mean, as you guys are in the industry, so you might be knowing that as well. Okay. So number ranges are nothing but it is an element through which you would be controlling that what kind of when you go ahead and create a raw material in the system with which number it would be created. Okay. Let's say suppose we want that the raw materials in this actions chemical implementation those guys, I mean, the client wants that the raw materials, okay, they should be, they should, I mean, they should be it should be from this and to this. Okay, so basically, whenever you create a material of material type raw material, it would be system should know that yes a material is being created which is nothing of which is of a material type raw material. Okay, let us say isopropanol 1 isopropanol and isopropanol 1.1 is going to be created, so they want that the system should know that this is the range which we have selected. Okay, this is the range which we have uh, selected. So we have selected that raw material should whenever a raw material would be created, it would be under this range. That is, it would start from this and it would end at this thing. Okay, and it is normally a very huge number. Normally, it would always be taken of a 10 character. In SAP, we normally take it as 10 characters. We can go up to 18 characters in S4HANA. That a material ID can be of 18 characters, but normally it is taken of 10 or more than 10, not till 18. Okay, how they actually decide, it is not for us to decide that how many characters they want. Remember, when you go for a discussion, they would ask that normally how many is taken, how many it is taken. So you always say, I mean, we normally say it is normally 10 character is the key which is normally taken for the material. So 10 character key we normally take, that a material would be of 10 character key, 10 characters number. Okay. Uh, we put the decision on them that yes, till 18 we have normally, and it's how they if they say how we decide, you have to tell them it is up to the volume of the materials. Okay, so you have to go ahead and check if you have a very high large volume of materials. Okay, we for example, like every you have around so you anticipate that every other day a material would be created. Okay, so for example, so a 10 character would be, if you see, it would be around 10. I mean, it would be around 10 raised to 10. Okay, you have to tell them on the basis of the volume you decide that how many characters you would be needing. They won't ask us to give the number of characters. Remember, but we have to tell them you have to understand on the basis of the volume. So if for example, normally what happens, I'll tell you, when you go for an ERP consulting, you have to educate them this thing as well. Okay, I'll just give a classic example. Normally, what happens if you have an industry where users are not that much trained, if you have your organization people are not that much trained, or or the ERP is not that much streamlined. Okay, for example, let me say I am I want, okay, I'll just give a classic example, okay, for you to understand or, okay. So, for example, we have an industry, okay, in organization, what happens, okay, uh, we are procuring, okay, this is a classic example of procurement of air conditioners, okay, we are procuring five air conditioners Okay, one air conditioner would be of AC. That is, if you know, I mean, ACs are mentioned in ton. Okay, 1.5 ton AC. Okay, so 1.5 ton, two 1.5 ton AC, and three AC that is of 2 ton. Okay, and in India we have normally 3-star and 5-star rating. So 3-star, okay, 3-star. Uh, 3-star is nothing but remember this is this is a kind of an electric Dhaval might be knowing, this is a kind of an electricity consumption related rating Ben. Okay, so I'm giving you an
Yes.
example how unstructured businesses and how unstructured ERPs and are going to be done. Okay,
Material
basically
code also starts with letter.
1.5, yes, yes, 1.5 ton. This is not a code, Dhaval, as of now. I'm just giving some example over here. Just
Yeah, I know that.
yeah,
I'm
AC
I'm just telling you.
2 ton. Yes, yes, 5-star. Okay. Now let's say suppose in the COs in the at the time of construction of your, I mean, there is a new office you have constructed. What happens in industries and in organizations? Okay, this particular, they have to procure the ACs in order to kind of fix in the various kinds of rooms. Bigger rooms are going to be having 2 ton ACs. Smaller rooms are going to be having 1.5 ton ACs. Okay. In industries, what happens if you have an unstructured industry? Okay, unstructured, I would say unstructured processes in the organization. Okay, what they will do, they would create, in order to do a procurement, they would create 4 codes. One code would be for this one. Let's say suppose A 1.5 and all these things. Uh, uh, three One code would be this thing. Another, in order to just do a procurement. Okay, so you have to understand what thing you have to even educate them to as well. Okay, basically the teams, basically the master data analyst team and all these things. Okay, so basically, in order to do a procurement, they would be creating 4 codes. Now, from the system point of view, can you? I mean, my company is an expense chemical company. Okay, can you guys tell me if this is the right thing to do to create 4 code for an AC which has to be fixed in your in the office? Is it a right thing to do?
As per my opinion is to create individual material codes.
Is it a right thing? Then okay, Dhaval has said that it is good to create individual, which they have done currently. Dhaval, which these guys have done currently. Ben, what is your opinion on this thing?
That is just individual. So,
Uh, okay. So basically, this is where the problem is, guys. So Extens Chemical, guys. Extens Chemical. Remember, Extens Chemical is a chemical production company. Do you really think that we need 4 codes for AC? We don't even require 4 codes. We even don't require any code itself. We can procure by just entering text item in PO and give the material. Do you really think we are going to be procuring ACs every now and then and be storing this particular? These ACs would be coming and would be fixed in the office. We don't, as a from the procurement point of view and from ERP point of view, you have to kind of create either one code and procure every AC with that code, or just even not create a code. You can directly procure without master data as well. Remember, okay? So why? Because it's we are, we are not a company who is manufacturing ACs. We don't even want a different kind of code for every kind of variation of AC. Okay, we can create one code and we can procure as many number of ACs we want. It's just in the PO we can enter their details, what number of AC we want, and this AC is not going to be stored in our inventory. It would be going and fixed in the office itself. Okay, got my point. If it was Exxon's AC manufacturing company, then it was a logical decision. Then it was an efficient and a very good decision to have different codes because we are manufacturing a lot of ACs. We would be keeping 1.5 tons 3-star AC. There would be stock of that. There would be stock of this. There would be stock of this. There would be. We are not a company who is concerned about AC. We just need this because we want to procure it and fix it in the office. Getting my point, guys?
There should be one common code for air
Yes,
conditioner.
yes, yes. And even when I have gone through the course, you would be suggesting that why do you even require a code when you are not going to be procuring every other month? So this would be procure only one single time. We cannot even need to have a code. We can procure without even a code as well. When I have gone through the whole course, you would get to understand that as well. So this is what happens if the internal team is not properly trained or they are not that efficient. The master data team would go ahead and create a lot of codes, and there would be whole lot of junk data. So while you explain them that the users that in order for you to decide a number of characters for your material, you have to understand that what kind of volume you are expecting within 30 years or 20 years, or what kind of volume of materials you are going to be expecting, and how streamlined your particular, how trained your users are going to be. On the basis of that, their CEO and CFOs, in fact, remember, in order to decide all these things, we see that number ranges are not that important thing, but remember, number ranges are the most important thing for the client. Okay, so the in order for decision of this thing, till the CEO, CFO level, people are involved with the stakeholders. So it's a very efficient decision, and those guys anyways are going to be more better than us. They would be knowing their industry better, and on the basis of that, we leave it to them. Please choose from 18 to I mean, normally we take 10 till 18. We have provision. It's up to you to go ahead and decide what number ranges you want. Getting my point, guys? Because these questions are going to be asked to you when you go for implementation.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let's just suppose this.
So that so that you explain that as far as they are going to do a massive production of AC, the next step will be to categorize that AC of the product. That is the case. Is that the case?
Yeah, they don't. I can even when I'll show you, I can show you if uh, when if you are if remember when if you are a manufacturing firm works who actually manufactures AC, then it is a logical thing for you to have such variations in such code, because without code you won't be able to track the stock. How would you see the stock? Okay, if you have to see 1.5 ton 3-star AC, if you don't have a code, you won't be able to track the stock if you are an AC manufacturing firm. But we are a chemical company. We want AC to come here, and we would be fixing it in the office itself. So do we actually need a code? Not. We don't. Okay, we don't really need any kind of code for AC itself. If we want, we can make one code just for doing the procurement. If the company wants that every kind of procurement we should do with with a code. But remember, companies don't want junk data for their ERP, because a lot of data, what the amount of data you would be creating in the ERP, it would go ahead and sit in the SAP system. It would start consuming actual physical data. That is your storage space in the servers. Okay, as the cost increases, it would have a whole lot of ripple effect down the line on 10, 20, 30 years. Okay, so that is the thing. That is the process we will have to go, and we have to even go ahead and when you go ahead and do consulting, you have to go ahead and explain them as well. I mean, not explain, but you can just give this example as well, and ask the core team members to train their master data analysts that this is how they should behave. Okay, getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
Because in the master data analyst team, remember, people are not that much I mean, they are not that much concerned about this thing. They just get the input from them and go ahead and do the thing. But the core team, they are the guys who actually have I mean, process knowledge, who are actually, when you go ahead and train them, they would be a pro in SAP. Okay, so everyone would be taking directions from them actually. Okay, because they are expected to do that. So explain them with all these practical examples that would make you a better consultant. And at the end of the day, system configurations are not that much required, guys. I can give. I will give you the PPT. You would go ahead and see, and after referring those PPT, afterwards you could go ahead and do that without my help or without anybody's help. Okay, but consulting is what it is going to be coming from the experience and how you are going to be going ahead and talking to the client when you are an ERP consultant. Okay. Now let us quickly take, let's say suppose packing materials they have given two, and over here it's 299. So stay. Now let us say suppose we have kept it this thing, okay, and this thing, generic consumable. It might also be possible that these guys might take a little less number ranges and in consumables. Normally, consumables, these are the guys who actually take a lot of volume of data. So, uh, let's say, okay, now, let's say suppose scrap material. Okay, normally what happens in scrap material, people don't normally have the scraps. Okay, they don't normally want that such kind of big number in this should be there, and they even want that the material ID should start from SC. Okay, Dhaval, you had rightly pointed. It can even start from alphabet. Okay, so they want that it should be 1 2 SC 000. And it should start from this. It should end on this thing. Okay, so that is also possible, but would be letting you know as well. Okay, I'm audible to you guys.
Actually, your voice is breaking in between.
You
Yeah.
have
Now is it fine?
you will have a network problem. If you have policy problem.
Now is it fine?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, as Dhaval you had said, that we could also have material numbers which could start from alphabet as well. Okay, that could be a possibility. Normally in scrap materials and everything, we don't want such numeric materials. We want that we, even by looking at the code, that should we know that this is a scrap material. It should start from ST. That could also be done, but it would be done through a specific setting, and all these I would be letting you know once I do the configuration related to number range. Okay. Now, apart from this thing, okay, from the material point of view, guys, okay, remember, let us take example of this raw material. This is nothing but your isopropanol. Let us take example of isopropanol. Okay. Uh, okay. Now this isopropanol, remember, this isopropanol basically this is a raw material. Okay. So procurement department would be using the raw material. There would be, after the raw material has been procured, production department would be using. Okay, now production department would be using. Then there would be uh, finance department. Okay, anyways, every material is under, I mean, the finance would be looking at the valuation and everything related to the, because they would be looking at we would be looking at the stock. They would be looking at the value of the stock. For example, if I have 100 liter of isopropanol, when they have to report finance would be reporting that they would be reporting 100 liter. Apart from that, they are main concerned about that what is the value of that stock. So it could be in lakhs and it could be thousands of, it could be it could be in millions. Okay, so basically, finance department, every material, so finance department is concerned about the values and everything. We would be concerned about the procurement. Then there would be an inventory department who is basically concerned about for the material, who would be basically looking at the storage and everything related to. uh, 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 to this for this material. Similarly, if we have Dettol, which is nothing but our FG, so basically production would be using it in their production order to produce this thing. Basically not using it, they would be basically producing this Dettol. Sales would be selling this, sales department would be selling this particular material. Finance department would be looking at the valuations and everything related to this particular material. Inventory department would be basically concerned about the storage of this material. So basically, the the most important thing I am trying to say it over here to you is that any kind of material, okay, as you can see in an organization, it is basically it's kind of dealt, or it is basically engaged with a lot of different departments. Okay. Firstly, finance would be engaged in every kind of material normally, every kind of material which has been created normally in SME. Okay. Those which are procured would be concerned, procurement team would be engaging with that because they would be creating the purchase orders and everything in SAP in order to procure it. Those which are used in production, so raw materials, packing materials are used in production. So so production department PP module would be concerned for that. Okay. Similarly, uh, every material which is going to be stored in the industry, the inventory department, which is nothing but the warehouse and all these things, those guys would be engaging with this material. Okay. So you have to understand that how SAP has dealt with it. Okay. So basically, uh, there's something called as views. Okay. So like we are doing our configuration, we would be doing purchase group and all these things. So um, I mean, every material has something called as views. Okay. Views are nothing but that places where when I'll be showing you the various screens where different kind of data is stored. Okay, where different kinds of data is stored. So that is also basically the material type. So isopropanol, which was a raw material. So raw material we can see that sales is not concerned. Sales sales guy won't be creating any kind of sales order for the raw material. Okay, so it is possible that at the material type level, which is you would be enabling that every what SAP has done. Uh, SAP has given a lot of screens in any material. SAP has given a lot of screens. So when I will be showing you creation of the material, I would show you that there are a lot of screens in the material in SAP. So each screen is basically having one or the other function related to one or the other module. From point of view, remember, okay, or before I go to point of view, as with this example, I explained you that at the material type level, what SAP has given that you can configure whether the views relevant to sales or views relevant to a particular module are to be enabled in that material type only. For example, if when I would be configuring the raw material, I would be unchecking or I would be unchecking that we don't need sales relevant views when a raw material is created. Okay, because no sales guy would be entering that raw material in the in the sales order when they create. Okay, and it could be possible that it might be needed. So we can keep it enabled if we want. That should also be fine. But getting my point, guys, that at the material type level, we would be doing something which I'll be showing you the configuration that this view should be enabled or not, this view shouldn't be enabled or not. Getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. So okay. So that is what you're. And now coming to important. Remember, for any kind of related thing, basically purchasing related thing. Remember, purchasing related thing. For we need to the views which are important for okay, which are basic data views, okay, which is for every material basic data view is very important. Basic data views, then there is something called as purchasing view. Okay. So purchasing view, if a material is isopropanol, when we go ahead and I'll show you the concept of creation and extension as well. Okay. So basic data views if are not created, uh, hmm, if are not created, there is no existence of materials. To be very frank, without basic data is nothing but I'll just show you that as well. Basic data is nothing but the actual material name, number, and all this. Basic for us, basic data view, purchasing view. Okay, those are most important. Then there would be another view. Okay, there is we call it as accounting view. Remember, accounting view is related to finance, but in order to carry out any kind of activities, okay, I'll when I go forward in the sessions, I'll explain you where accounting view is okay. But remember, in 95% of cases, materials in order to execute any kind of transaction, okay, which is nothing for purchasing, sales, accounting view should be there. Okay, so account in remember whenever we are going to be creating a material in SAP for our testing as well, we would be having basic data view, purchasing view, and accounting view. That should suffice us to go ahead and create our purchase orders. Okay. Okay. Now, remember, you could see that I have explained you a lot of different things. Okay. So, sales views. There are three, four sales views. Then there would be PP. There are something called RP views. Okay, which is different. Then there would be FI views. Basically, are working on accounting. Inventory, which is nothing but we normally also have general plant data, which is fine. I mean, these views are not general plant data. Now remember, guys, okay, irrespective of the fact that material is a very wide concept, okay, material has a lot of views and screens. The general understanding and the general uh, uh, acceptance in your project, in every project, will be that MM is the whole and sole responsible person for each and everything. Okay, so that would be the basically normally that is the understanding, but it's not like that. Okay, we would be concerned and we would be worrying about the fields which are relevant to us. When the view, okay. When it is asked, okay, for what are, let's suppose if the client asks what are the important fields and what are the like, what mandatory fields have to kept at the SD views, PP views, and everything. These kinds of discussions are going to be integrated. Remember, it is going to be integrated. So when we are going to the client, in the material master is a kind of a concept for which all the consultants from across all the modules are going to be coming. They would be explaining each and one of them. So would be explaining to their counterpart. So that these are the important fields for this material type. This would be the important field because each view is having certain fields which are relevant to the module. Okay, for MM we will be having purchasing, basic data, and all these things. For SD there would be sales org related, so they would be having certain fields which are going to be going into the sales order and everything. Without sales views, sales order cannot be created. So this guy, okay, so when we explain it to the master data team and to the various stakeholders, there would be a combined whole discussion for that. Each module should be getting a point their set of time to in order to explain their views, and you have to drive this in this. So there are going to be chances where when you go into your project and you would be asked that such a discussion has to be conducted, which ideally is going to be conducted. So you are supposed to be having taking everyone, and that has to be taken. That has to be the approach that should be taken. Because many a times it comes out that MM is should be knowing everything related to material. You are not supposed to be, because you are not the person who would be knowing everything related to every module and every book. Okay, just a disclaimer I am giving, and just a efficient way of doing processes in the project. Okay. Now coming to the okay, this is done. Now before we go into system and do the configurations and everything, okay, I would I would also explain you something called as material groups. Okay, because we would be configuring material groups first. Now material groups, what how I'll explain it. Okay. Now let's suppose our consumable department, which is nothing but the indirect procurement department. Okay. They have taken a type called as generic consumables. Okay. Now a lot of things would be done at the material consumables. But in order for them, in a generic consumable, okay, these guys actually have a lot of things. Okay, a generic consumable, a generic consumable, okay, generic consumable, okay, can be having materials which are related to, let's say, suppose IT, which are related to stationery, okay, which are related to your I would say IT stationery, uh, uh, then other things such as uh, admin related say admin related items such as admin related items, okay, uh, admin, and then there could be other a lot of different things. Okay, why exactly I'm telling you? What normally we cannot take. Let's say suppose I have to buy laptops and everything, so that when newcomers join, I have to give it to them. Okay, the IT, that is if we could have taken that particular different type itself. Okay, then again stationery, uh, diaries and everything. Then admin related items such as your security, ID cards and all these things, and various other things. Okay. So basically, remember, I mean, as you can see, okay, you can see that within material type also there could be a bifurcation which could be used for tracking the stock and everything. Okay, I can generate a stock report to see, or material report to see what are my IT consumables, what are my stationery, admin related consumables. Similarly, in case of raw materials, what are the liquid raw materials, solid raw materials, what are the hazardous raw materials, what are the cold temperature controlled substances and everything. So there is, in order for you to have a
हमारा धौल भाई
proper
गंजी पैर
bifurcation to do in the report, such as stock report, material
Hmm.
reports, we SAP has
ठीक है सा
given that
गंजी ले
you
जाए
can
नहीं
use
तो
something
मालूम
called as
है
material groups, that you
इसके
can group
प्रोफेसर ने है
materials
बता
on the basis of your logical I mean on the basis of the reporting and everything. Getting my point, guys, getting the gist of what a material group is and how it is different from material type.
Yes.
Yes, I expect you guys to be knowing this because you guys are already using SAP. Okay,
मिस्टर
so
सोलह
that's
साइकिल
the
पर
thing.
को हमने
So
आप तो नहीं रहता वहाँ
remember when you initiate the discussion of material
नहीं
type,
थे तो नहीं थे
the
जाने
next thing you have to go ahead and do is for the material groups.
की
Okay, so material groups you have to go ahead and you and you just have to assume that this is how we. I mean, normally we have in project we have grouping. They would be having the whole data for that because that's the most important thing for them actually, the whole stock reporting and everything. So if they ask that we group the materials on the basis of such thing and we want reporting on the basis of that, go ahead and say we have material group field, we'll be creating as per your requirement, and each and every department is going to be given to that. Okay. So material group concept we got it. So let me just write it. It is an element uh, used within the materials. It is used in the materials to logically group the materials for reporting purposes. For reporting purposes. For example, stock report, material report, etc. Okay. So etc. Fair enough. So material group we got. Now let us just go to the system and first of all let us try to create first of all let us create material group. Let us create some material groups. Okay. I'll show you the path where we would be doing. Just go to remote desktop. Just one minute. I guess now you have changed that setting. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, which setting when? Uh, okay. Now, okay. Now let us go to SPRO first. Again, SPRO is nothing but the config node. You click on SAP reference IMG. And as I have already told you guys, everything we would be configuring would be either in logistic general, materials management, or would be in enterprise structure. And within enterprise structure as well, it would be always in logistic general or materials management. 95, like 99% of our configuration would be there. So related to material type, it would be in and material type and material group, it would be in logistic general. So let me just go to the path. Okay, remember, or you would not remember, in my PPT you would check. Logistic general, materials management, and first of all, settings for key field, which is nothing but your material groups. So we would be having, let us try to create some 4 5 material groups. Again, if you want to see the maximum number of length over here, the other day we are done. Click on F1, click on this thing, and click on this is tool. Click on the data element. So you would see the maximum number of length, that is 9 characters. But that is fine. Over here we need not like we can give 4 5 characters as they want. It's not that a big a deal. You can suggest that. It's not a big issue. For example, let's say we have X for our X requirement, and I'll just create this thing. I'll create.
मार्केट भी ओह मार्केट नहीं खुद था
2,
क्या से हो
3,
क्या होना
4. Okay. Just listen for now. Just don't worry about these things. Okay. You would get to understand afterwards when we have other scenarios. Okay. So this is solid. This is nothing but the. I'm taking an
एक
example
तो
of
आने अंदर
solid
बैग
material
जवान
for
है
the
ना
raw material, and then I'll just solid raw material. So this would help them to do good and get jobs on the basis of material raw material. Solid, liquid, then your control substances, nothing but the control substances, and then Radis, Radis, materials.
एप्लीकेशन
Okay. Then let us try to create one of more, some two or three more
नहीं पढ़ा मैं
this thing, consumables, that is XCN, XG3, that is 001. This is nothing but IT stationery.
एक तो घर में देखना पार्टी का घर
Okay. Stationery consumables
घर में कोई ना
and
There will be your assets.
uh, yes, assets can also be there. Asset asset का तो I mean for assets guys even we normally take a new type as well. That normally we also take a type as well for asset.
ये भाई जो
Can
बंद
also be
करता है
there and XG 04 let us see. Yeah, admin items is admin items. Okay. So this way, basically, under this node, you are supposed to go ahead and take all the various kinds of your all the various kinds of the material group configurations which are exist on the basis of. And remember, material groups and all these, it might be possible that you might not get it on the very first day. These purchase
कैसी
groups
टीचर
and
आ
these might you might not get on the very first day. But it should not stop you from doing something. It
तू
should not
सही
stop
से 2
you.
मिनट ऊपर
The
ही
whole these are a lot of data. So you would get a lot of data only after they have done
नहीं
their
है
activities and came to a final list.
हम तो
Okay.
तुमसे कैरेक्टर
So we have to keep asking them, but it's not like that. You would always get it on the very first time. Now that we have gone and created some material groups, okay, the most important is just go into the basic settings. Okay. In basic settings, you have material type. Remember. Now, in order to
एग्रीकल्चर
define
इज नॉट
material type,
रियल
define attributes of material type, click on that. Okay. Now,
यार
you have to understand this thing in case of plant, in case of company code, and again in case of your material type. We
हमें
normally,
ऐसी नहीं
there are
पकड़
a lot
मैं
of
पकड़ता हूँ आना
settings at the
पड़ता
material type. Okay, we don't go ahead and create new entries for that. We always copy it. For example, okay, I'll tell you. In the initial days, you might not be like we normally what is the standard draw for this thing? There is a ROH material type. When the system is delivered to you by the basis, you would see certain material types which are already there in SAP. Okay, these are the standard material types which they have given. Okay, which SAP has given. So there would always be some
ये
material
तो
type
यार ऊपर ना
ROH,
पड़े तो
which would be normally has to be used for raw materials and packaging materials. Similar kind of materials which are procured from outside. Okay, so
ये
if
वाला
they have
ड्राइविंग
taken
लाइसेंस
other
है तुम्हारा तो
other
वहाँ
uh,
खबर
control
ये वाला नहीं
substances, raw materials as well, then there would that also has to be. I mean, you have to take reference from that particular material.
हाँ तेज भी
Once
है
you are through and once you are like kind of like we have done a lot of configuration. So we don't actually, I mean, I normally go ahead and create every material type from raw material, from the taking a reference of the ROH material type. Okay, I create every material type from that. As because as per the experience and everything, I know that yes, these are the settings that I have to remove from the book and everything and all these things. But when you to go through the course, after the even after the course, when you are you would get to understand and when you get it from the client and and all these things, you would get to understand. So don't worry, but always create a particular material type from any standard material type. So I'll give you just not a thumb rule, but we normally take this from standard, copy it from standard ROH. This is ROH standard material type, standard material type. Okay, we copy it from that and do our changes if required. Standard material type. Then this also ROH. So these are packing and raw materials are similar kind of things. For SFC, these are the things which are going to be procured from outside. Okay. I hope you guys are getting the point that I'm just telling you that these are some standard as in plant you as I suggested copy it from outside. In material type
Kenu.
copy it from ROH when the raw material packing materials and all these. Getting my point, guys? Okay, the name
लाइट मोटर એટલે આપણી ગાડી
Yes,
જ આવે
I'll go. Okay. So we have come to the screen where we are gonna be configuring a material type. Okay. This material type we let's say suppose we are gonna be doing a configuration. Okay. So first material type is raw material. Okay, I'm trying to configure this raw material. The client has confirmed. Let's say suppose let me just go ahead and enter the. I mean, there would be a KDS sheet for that. I mean, there would be a sheet as well for raw material. Sorry, for material type. So these are gonna be the material types. This is gonna be their number ranges. I'll just go ahead and add that. Okay. I'll just name it as material type. Rename. This is nothing but material type.
મોડ
Okay.
બદલતા ફોનમાં
So you have to like kind of create such kind of worksheet in your KDS. You have to also provide the number ranges which you are going to represent. Okay. So these are the number ranges with which because with this they are going to be knowing that yeah these guys are going to be creating these. So after the I mean now we are in the process of configuring the material. So remember so first material type that I am going to be configuring is raw material. As in the time of creation of plant, I had told you always copy it from the standard plant. Similarly, from for raw materials or for or for various kinds of material for the raw material, SAP has given a standard material. SAP says that don't go ahead and change such things. The raw material, the various kinds of the various material types which we are giving it to you, right? You just go ahead and copy it from our side. So I would be just go ahead and copy it
નીકળી
from
ગયું
the ROH
નીકળી
and
ગયું તો
this is the indicator guys. Okay. I have to create my raw material type which is nothing but ZXRM. Okay. My client has given that with this material type our raw materials are going to be created. So I know, yes, I want to create the material type. I have to copy it from one of the material types, one of the standard material types.
સોનાના
Over
થઈ
here
જશે
you
હું
might
આપી
be finding a lot of
એટલે
material
પૈસા તારે
types.
આપવા પડે
Only see 7 to 8 material types. Okay. One of them would be ROH, which SAP suggests that this is the standard configuration.
પૈસા આપવા પડે
Okay. Just copy it.
સોનાના થાય મારા નથી આપવા પડે એના જોડે એના લીધા હોય એના આપવા પડે
Let's say ZXRM.
જે વાપરવા દેતા હોય ખરીદી કરતા તો સ્ટુડન્ટ તો બધાને આપવા પડે
Raw material.
2 રૂપિયાની વસ્તુ છે બે તો આપવી પડે
Raw material. Now over here a lot of things are there. This is nothing but we are whenever we create a material, we go ahead and select one standard material, click on copy as, and this is how the screen would look like. I would go ahead and enter my material type ID which I want, and the description which I want, and I press enter. Okay, there are a lot of settings, guys, over here. We would be coming to each of one of them as we proceed in the code for the basic, because each and every setting has having a lot of them. I mean, each and every setting, we would be coming to a lot of settings over here as and when we explore the process. So first of all, we have to see how are we going to be creating a material type. This is how we create. Always go ahead and copy it from the standard one. Just enter it, save it. We are also going to be coming to these things. So this is how my raw material type ZX file was created. But what now to your question, Ben, what was ROS? ROS is a standard material type from which I have copied. Yes, yes, from the standard. From the standard. Yes, yes. So
So is
that
there any other standard material type?
yes, there is gonna be. Okay. So for example,
Hmm.
remember, Dhawan, as a
Hmm.
thumb rule, what we can do is raw material, packing material. These are similar kind of materials. These are the materials which we are going to be procuring from outside. These are our NS. We normally copy it from our own. So again, when I'll copy it from packaging, but I'll just create packaging material as well for you guys. I'll be creating all of them. I'll be showing some standard material types which you should be using. Okay. I'll just save it. Okay. And okay, after that I'll just yeah, I'm using SPRO, yes. Uh, again, Ben.
They are using ASP because they technically ASP.
Yeah. Transaction SPRO. Okay. Now, okay, just came out. Let us create one packaging material as well. As a thumb rule, we normally use all the procurable materials. We normally copy it from our ROH. So the ones which we are going to be putting it in PO, we normally go ahead and copy it from ROH only. Okay, remember. Okay, for example, ZX PM, I believe. ZX PM, which is packing material. One thing you have to remember, guys, one thing you have to ensure while you do the configuration as well, everywhere, don't ever delete any kind of material type or anything. Okay, because SAP itself has suggested that it should not, the standard material type should not be deleted. Okay, because if you lose it, then I mean, the basis has to do some things in order to copy this table. Otherwise, you won't be able to go ahead and create the material type. So never delete standard objects. Never ever.
ये हमारा भाई क्या बात हुई
We
खाना
can delete.
बनाना
We can actually. Okay, we can. Yeah. So you have to ensure that we can. I don't know why SAP has done that, but we can. In fact, one of the
Because
students.
first,
Yeah.
because first they were saying that you can't delete material crate.
We can delete. We can delete material types in fact. Okay. Yeah. Uh, One of the students had done that, and for that, I mean, a lot of issues came out to be because he deleted each and every material type which is there in SAP. From this screen, he went ahead and deleted it. So it created a lot of issues. Okay. Now,
So Abhi, can you name the standard material types like ROH?
uh, yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm telling you now this is normally you would be taking it from ROH. Okay. So all the various procurement ones and all these things. Okay. Even your these things you should take because consumables are also procured related things. These are gonna be coming in PO. So you can take it from these. The other ones, okay, these ones, okay, and and if you forget, if you don't have anything, always copy it from ROH. ROH should be the best. I am well aware, so I normally take ROH because I know I can do manipulate a lot of settings. I know all the relevant settings. Okay, so I normally take as ROH. But in finished goods, finished goods we have FERT. Okay, FERTs we have over here. All the related ones which are basically related to production and all these things, we have FERT. SFG we have called as HALB. Okay, there is a material called as HALB, and this one you can also take it. You can take FERT as well for this. Remember, okay, it's not compulsory that you take uh, copy from only the ones which SAP says. Okay. SAP says that you copy from any of the standard one. SAP expects that you would be knowing what configuration you want to go ahead and do the changes. For example, if I go ahead and create finished goods copying the ROH. Okay. If I go ahead and create ROH from ROH. What I have to do is I have to disable the purchasing. Okay, for example, over here, if I go, let me take ROH. Okay, I'll just, or even not ROH, I'll just copy it from R1 because that is nothing but a copy of ROH. And if I go ahead and copy it and try to let it come first.
ડેટા પછી બીજું કઈ નામ હતું અને ડેટા સ્પીડ માટે જ લેવા દેવા રિલેટેડ કોડ ડેટા યસ એમ કહું છું કે
So you have to make changes after creating these material types.
Yes, yes. For example, yes, and a lot of after even testing we go ahead and do the changes. So why there is a unit testing? In unit testing you see, yeah, this setting is not as per this client. Let us remove this setting. Let us change this setting and all these things. Okay. For example, what I did, I copied from RS. ZXM. I created finished. Let me just name it as finished goods. Okay. So SAP doesn't stop you from doing this thing. SAP doesn't really say. SAP even doesn't really bothered about it. SAP says copy it from some of them. Now, ideally, finished goods are not supposed to be purchased. So what I would do, I would just remove purchasing view. And even if the client says that it could be possible that we could purchase the finished goods, we'll keep it purchasing enabled as well. So as you have said, Dhaval, after configuration, we are going to be doing certain changes. We are going to be testing, and after testing as well, some certain changes are going to be coming, and all these things will be there. Okay, getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is what the process is. Always copy it from one of the types. Basically, I copy it from ROH because I know ROH is the whole. I mean, it is always gonna be there. Other, it might be possible people might have deleted, but ROH is always there. I don't know. I mean, but I copy it from that and do my manipulation because I am aware that what thing controls what. Okay. So basically, and like what thing controls what, as in I am aware of the scenarios which they give, and from that scenario, I do testing, and from testing I see, yes, this setting we should be changing at this level. This setting we should be changing at this level. So that things we normally do. Okay. But now let us just go ahead and create other types as well. Okay. Let me just buy products and semi-finished. Let us copy it from FERT. That should also be fine. Okay, so we'll see FERT as well. Let us see FERT. I believe people might not have deleted. Yes, this is standard. Okay, and ZX BY. ZX BY. Semi-finished. Sorry. Byproduct. 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 Okay. Press enter, keep on pressing enter as of now. Okay, then I'll just copy it. So before saving, I'm just copying it, and I'm doing a lot of ZX byproduct has been created. ZX your SG semi-finished. Okay, semi-finished. Okay, press enter. Press enter. And okay, press enter. Okay.
and
Now
visual.
I'll just copy from ROS all the
Directly
material types as well.
directly.
Remember, in material type is a thing which we are gonna be coming back and forth in the various scenarios. So I'll be when I encounter the scenario, explaining the scenario, I'll explain the indicator related to the material type as well. Okay. So we'll be coming over here. Even we'll be coming in just some time itself over here. This thing has got a lot of different controlling parameters over here. Now let us copy from ROH some more material types. Let's create. Uh, these all three are going to be creating. Now ZX GC generic consumables, generic consumables,
Before multiplexing,
generic
bit
consumables.
duration multiplexing में पहला कितना
Okay, enter
one millisecond
and
is the transmission rate of the link.
and without saving I can even go ahead and do a copy ZX
बराबर से the duration
this
of the time stop
PC
क्या time stop
and ZX PC production consumables product
ये मारा भाई ऐसे करेगा तो नहीं चलेगा duration of time slot
and
1/4 series
press enter
250 microseconds micro
press enter ZX PC engineering consumables ZX PC NG
तो 250 ना आवे मिली आवे
ZX
25 आवे 250 आवे हम्म 250 आवे मिली आवे तो the duration of time का जो 1 kbps में बची जाएगी ना टाइम स्लॉट में duration और जेटलो जा 1 मिलीसेकंड
ZXPR
1 millisecond like 4 0.20
ZXPR. Now, if you see, I'm just what I'm doing is I'm copying from the ones which I have copied to. Okay, my own material type. I had copied it from ROS1, and I'm just doing the copying from that only. Okay. So remember what you are supposed to do. Always go ahead and create the identity before doing any kind of changes in the material type. Okay, getting my point, guys.
Yeah. And where can we find the material types in table?
Yeah, table also I'll show you. Yes. Once this is created, it will show that as well. ZXPR and now I'll be ZX. Okay.
आता बुद्ध पाछा ना ले
Okay.
duration
Now,
of frame is the same as reference 1 millisecond
now let it come. Okay. Now I'll save. So all of them have gotten saved. Now along again, as I had showed you earlier as well, how to extract the table. Click on this. Click on F1. Click on this thing. After this,
आप इधर यार पूर्व आने
I'll
और इतना
go to T134. Okay. You see all the table types is there in this. Okay. All of them.
मैंने क्यों बोल यार माउस जो और नहीं पता
So always use this approach. Okay. We are not supposed to remember all the table, but we are supposed to remember the way we have to find the table number. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So this is how you would be doing that. Now that we have created this thing, next thing we would be doing is we would be creating the number list. Now, yes, yes, yes. Let us just yeah. Let us see the number list. So number ranges, as I have already
our
told you,
synchronous
this is the
time
I mean
division
this is how we
multiplexing
work.
size is a
In
statistical
number
time
ranges,
division multiplexing.
I have told you there are
Synchronous
two possibilities.
synchronous
In
ಅಂದ್ರೆ
this
ನಮಗೆ
there are
ವಸ್ತು
two kinds of numbers. Okay, one is your external number, one is your internal number. Okay, and another is your external number. Now, what is an internal number range and what is an external number range? Okay,
ಮೂಕನ time
internal number range. By internal number range, what it is? What I want is my system. Okay, what I want is
Define?
uh,
Can I define the
yes,
internal
yes, 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 yes. Ben, you can.
internal
Continue.
is what the system gives us. Consider the number 1999 and the external
ठीक है
some numeric number.
आणि इधर
Yes.
रिजेक्शन
So
Or we can take
પેલાનું
it
પેલાનું વર્કિંગ બતાવે ને
yes.
ખાલી
So you had rightly pointed. Okay. Uh, so internal number range is
બધું
nothing,
same છે
but guys, it is it is the number which system would give. So we know that what we would be doing is we would be configuring the system in a way that this material type, whenever a material is created in this material type, system should go ahead and create one material automatically from these number ranges which we have assigned. This way we are controlling that every kind of raw material is going to be created in this thing. Similarly, every kind of every material which is created with packing material type is going to be in this thing, in this range,
અને મારી
and
પાસે
system
ચાર
will be
ચેનલ છે
automatically
તમારે
assigning
કેટલો ટાઈમ
this thing.
લાગશે
We are not going to be
એવું
doing that. Such thing is called as internal number range, and 95% cases you would always find internal number ranges. External number range is the one in which while you create the material, I'll show you that as well. While you create the material, system allows you to enter the material, system allows the user himself to enter the material number. Okay, so I can have an always remember alphanumeric numbers
Why?
are always external. Then setting which I was telling was is that the alphanumeric numbers would always be your external number. Okay, so it is nothing but if you want the external numbers are nothing but system gives you the possibility that you can also enter the material number while creating the material. Okay, user, let's say suppose I'm a master data analyst, I can even enter the material number, and what I can do is I can at the material type for ZXC I have given
ભાઈ
that
આખો અલગ છે કઈ
system
ના બોલો
this is the range and it is an external number range. So my master data analyst is supposed to be entering within this number range. System can even check
divided by
whether I
ચાર
have
કરી
entered
દેશે
it
પ્લાન્ટ
within this number range or not. Okay.
ચાર
So basically external is nothing but we are users are giving. Internal is nothing but where the system automatically creates. Getting my point, guys?
So for the internal, we define the number ranges, and then automatically it will be
Yes.
given us by system.
Yes, system will see one by one from one, two, three, four, five up till one to nine 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 nine. In this case, this to this. But but in external, it would be it is gonna be alphanumeric, and you are. I mean, it is alphanumerics are always external, and it is for us. We can define that we are gonna be creating with SC01 or 2 or something like that. Getting my point?
Yeah. So how the system will know that this is the scrap material or is this the raw material?
From material type.
Okay. So
When
you
we would be creating the material, the first thing you need to enter is the material type.
okay.
Yes. So all these things, when we go ahead and see the material side, I'll be showing you that as well. Okay.
Yeah. And
Now
which would be the easiest way, internal or external?
it's not a question of easiest or hard. Okay. It is the question of what client wants, and it is the question of efficiency, guys. Okay. We normally don't profess people to have external number ranges. Why? Because external number ranges are not that. I mean, that creates a whole lot of havoc and a whole lot of confusion. Because user can go ahead and create on the basis of his input itself. While they are creating in their custom programs, they can enter the material numbers and go ahead and create as per them. Okay. Normally, client doesn't even want external number ranges. In rare cases, in some kind of materials only they want, where they want that even the material number that we have created should have SC, so that we can know that this is a
Frame
scrap
rate
material.
જેટલો ટાઈમ એ
But
bitrate
in
હોય એટલો
cases
દાનો
which are
bitrate
raw
frame નો
materials, in
rate હોય
cases which are packing materials, which
જ્યાં
are
સુધી
heavy,
બંનેની
they
આ
don't
match
want that the system should have a material ID which is which can be keyed at the time of user at the time of creation by the user himself. Getting my point? We always have 99
આનો
in
frame
95
rate
to
કેટલો હશે
99%. We always have internal
તને
range.
આવડે છે ને એ પ્રમાણે કહેજો
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
No,
External
bitrate
number
ભૂલી
range is
ગયા. Bitrate તો
okay.
ભૂલી ગયા.
Yes. Fair enough. Now, before before we create the
હવે
material,
એક
let us
વાર
now
bitrate
create the
બોલ્યો ને
number range. Let us see how the process is. Now,
frame નો
how
frame
it
rate
is.
કહું છું frame
We
rate
know that what we have to do is we have to basically material in a way we have to link this thing to the material type. Okay, remember, we have to link this thing, this range to this thing, material type. Now, normally what I would say, system should, I mean, I don't know why it is designed that way, but ideally there should be material type and there should be number range, and it should be possible that we could go ahead and assign
આનો bitrate
it
જેટલો
to
હશે
the
એનો જ
material
એટલો જ
type.
આનો bitrate હશે
But how system
frame
is
rate હશે
configured, I'll tell you. Okay.
આનો
The
bitrate
number
જેટલો
range,
હશે એટલો આનો
okay,
frame
number
rate
range
હશે
process,
કેમ
number range
તો
process
bitrate
for material type. Okay, remember, for material type. For
10
material
બીટ
type.
આનાલિટી
What we have to do, first of all,
ફ્રેમ બનાવવી પડશે
okay,
હવે માની લો કે
first
અહીંયા ત્રણ
step,
કનેક્શન હવે જો
create
એના ત્રણ કનેક્શન છે તેનો
number
bitrate
range
કેટલો
group
થશે 10 bps એનો ફ્રેમ રેટ હતો 10 bps ના બોલે 10 ફ્રેમ પર
and
સેકન્ડ તો 10 ફ્રેમ પર સેકન્ડ
within
કેનો
it
હતો તો એનો bps કેટલો થશે તો કે 10 ગુણ્યા
create
3 કારણ કે દરેકની અંદર 3
a
હતું
range, number
ક્લિયર
range.
ડન
Okay,
જેટલા સ્લોટ હોય છે એટલા જ ફ્રેમ બનશે
assign
એટલા માટે આનો bitrate અને આનો
material
frame
type,
same ઓકે bitrate same નો હોય
number material number range group, or I would say material number range group. So I'll show you. I mean, it won't sound that much convincing to you.
હમણાં frame rate ની વાત
Because
કરતી
see the system. What we have to do is we have to first of all create number range
frame
group,
rate
which is nothing but I mean it is just an
Five
ID,
ના લેશો.
nothing else.
આ 100 બાય
Let me just go to the
frame
content
rate
node first.
એક frame ની અંદર
We are done with for now.
બે byte.
For now, we are done with the material type creation. Now, what I
એક
want
frame ની
is
અંદર એક element
I
ની
want
બે
to
byte
create
આવે.
the I want to assign the number ranges. Okay. Now, remember. Okay.
Frame rate
Uh,
એક byte
where is the number range setting?
બસ એ જ.
I'll just go to this thing, material type, and define number ranges for each material type. I'll go there and I'll go ahead and
આમ આપણું
click on
IPM 2000 માં
change
ચાલી
group.
રહ્યું છે
Again,
બરાબર વિચારવા દે
I'll come to define number ranges for each material type. I'll go ahead and click on the pencil. Pencil is nothing but change group. Pencil, and remember, pencil means changing or creating. Pencil means changing or creating, and spectacles means
હવે
display.
frame rate કેટલો
Okay, I'll just
થશે
click on change group and I'll click on something called as create
ગેલેરી
group.
લેતો છું
I'll come to create group. Okay. Create group is nothing but let's say suppose
Obviously,
it's nothing but it will be housing your number range. Okay. So this number range, okay,
કે 50
we are going to be creating, which we are going to be creating this to this. Suppose this is available. You could see a lot of error in the test system because already people have kind of created this number. The system would say that this has already been consumed.
સમજી ગયો એક સેકન્ડ ની તો 50000
Let's see if it's available or not. We'll try to. So first of all,
String
we would be
duration तो
creating a
पूछो
group.
जे અહીંયા પૂછેલું છે
It's nothing but a name. Let's say suppose I name it as raw material actions, RM actions. Okay, let me just name it as RM actions. Okay, and let us say this interval is nothing but a two character key which has to be used.
ફિલ્મમાં બીટ રેટ લઈ
So we
આવવાનો
call it as interval number,
400
and over here
kilo
we would be entering the number.
400 કિલો
That is that number.
0.4 માઇક એકના છેદમાં 4 હતું into 10⁵ એની અંદરથી 2 0 આ બાજુ આપી દીધા હું કરો છો 1/400 કિલો જોઈએ બધું ભૂલી જાવ તને બીટ રેટ આપેલા
But
હતા
RM actions is the
અને બીટ રેટ કેટલો છે 400 કિલો
First of all, you have to enter the interval. Interval is nothing but remember every number range which has been created in this
એક બીટ ને
mode
જવા માટે
will have an
એના
interval.
છેદમાં આવતો રહેશે એટલે 400
I'll explain it in just sometime. It's a two character key which actually associated with the number.
ત્રી કરી નીકાળશે એ હારી રીતે ભણી જશે 11 માં સમજી લીધું તું ફટાફટ કરતા
हमारे साथ कैसे खोल के सारे चला अब ये हमारे साथ बोर्ड एग्जाम में तेरे बोर्ड में कर दी कि चौपड़े में दाखला नहीं पूछती बड़े मतलब आंकड़ा चेंज करना चाहिए तो हमारा वाला हम कहते हैं कि चौपड़े में दाखला था ना दाखला ड्रामा बुक था
And
और
over
ये
here,
बुक
no
का
need
कैसे
for
नाम
that.
आओ ही नहीं चला पढ़ा हुआ था कि
I normally keep J1, J2, J3 for now. Let's see if it's available on.
अब वहाँ प्रॉब्लम होती है कि एक डेटा सेंटर नहीं करता
Someone might have already created a number.
આમાં તો ઘણી બધી next thing તેના સોલ્યુશન માટે
ઉપર
Enter it.
તેના સોલ્યુશન માટે ટેસ્ટ કર્યો
Okay. I have pressed enter. No error has been shown, which means it's available.
એમાં શું હોય
Okay. Now remember that I
કે જે
didn't
સેન્ડર સેન્ડ
click on
કરતો
external over here, which means I
receiver નો
don't want
એડ્રેસ
it
એડ
to
કરી
be
દો
external.
કારણ કે કેવલ
Specify interval J1 without overlap, which means there is already an interval which has these numbers. Okay, so system is saying that there is already a number range which has been created in any of the groups which is having this.
ઇન્ડિકેટર
In production system, you might not find such issues, but I mean in your actual implementation project, you might not find such issues because who would be the only consultants who would be working for the number ranges of material types and all this. But this is a test system, guys. In test system, you would always find that you are not able to have a material number range because people
અહીંયા
are
તને અહીંયા તને કેવી રીતે ખબર કે સામે હું એડ્રેસ તેનો એડ્રેસ
you would
મોકલો
always see this error.
તને લેફ્ટ સાઈડમાં મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સર ની સાઈડ થી થોડું ખબર કે અમે કયા એડ્રેસ પર પૂછવાનું
સેન્ડરનો તો ખબર હોય ને કોણ નીકળવાનું છે
Larger number.
આ રિસીવરનો એડ્રેસ છે એબી એ ગમે એ હોય
એ
કેસમાં
ઓકે એટલે ગમે તે છે ને એડીબી એવું કઈ નહીં કે એનું હોય છે
એડ્રેસ ટૂંકમાં રિસીવરનું
કેમ બાકી
Yeah,
આગળ
because
નથી
I'm
માઉન્ટ
changing the number because the number range
ગમે
that
તેટલા લઈએ
is
તો
already there in people. Someone has already created.
બધા બહેનું ન થાય કે ભલે લેવા જાય ગામના ડેટા આપણે
Similar to us, others are also using the test.
કાળા કામ કરો તો વાંધો આવે
Already that number range is there and there is an overlap. So our numbers you are thinking has already been consumed by other numbers. Getting my point?
આ દાખલા આવે ને
Getting my point? Yeah. What I'm doing is I'm trying to do some manipulation over here. I have taken a bigger number. Let's see if this bigger number.
હવે એમાં કેવું છે કે ડેટા છે જેના કે 3 બીટ છે પરંતુ
Otherwise, we
એક ટાઈમ પીરિયડમાં એક એક ડેટા મોકલ્યો છે એડ્રેસ ની ચેન્જ વધી ગઈ એડ્રેસ તરીકે
Normally what I do is test system, like ideally what I normally do
स्वाभाविक वो है
For
कि एड्रेस
practice,
कौन भी इतने सारे
basically number range we don't
Android
need that
ಪ್ರತಿ
much
ಗಿಂತ
practice
ಸಿಂಪಲ್
as well.
ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾವ
Okay,
ಸಂಗತಿ
so what I do is I don't
ಇದರ
actually go
ರೇಷಿಯೋ
ahead and consume
ಇಂಡಿಯನ್
all the numbers, because why? Because
ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್
others
ಶ್ರಾವಣಿಕ
might do for their
ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್
practice
ಸಮಾನ
as
ಗಿಫ್ಟ್
well.
ಉದಾಹರಣೆ
They might not be able
ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್
to use these
ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್
numbers.
ಜಾಂಕಸನಾದ
Okay, so I normally what I
ಫ್ರಾಡ್
do is
ನಿನ್ನ
I
ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್
create a number
ಈ
range
ಮುಖ್ಯ
and I
ಸಭೆ
just see how it is
ಕಾಂಟ್ರೋಲ್
assigned.
ಪ್ರಕಾರ
Okay, I'll just do
ಬರಲ್ಲ
one time, so that it doesn't really go ahead and give error. I mean, it doesn't get consumed that way. Okay, even what I do is in test systems, I'm not going to be creating all these numbers. Okay, I'm not going to be creating all these till 9999. Instead of doing all these things, I normally keep it that
ಸಿಂಕ್ರೊನೈಸೇಷನ್
I
ಬೇಸ್ಡ್
normally
ಓವರ್
keep it like this thing, so that we are going to be creating maximum 10-15 materials. Why to consume the whole number range? Getting my point, guys? So that others can also go ahead and create a number range for them. So, otherwise, if we had taken 999, it would have consumed all the numbers within
हमें
this
कैमरा
number
पीछे
range. I
डेटा
mean, it
मीटर
would have
करती है
fixed all
रिजल्ट
the
पूरी
number
के
range,
अंदर डेटा
all
लेवाना
those
नहीं तो
number range.
पहले ट्राई
Getting
ले
my
लेता
point, guys? Why I'm doing this thing?
Yeah, so can we define the alphabetic in number range over here, or
For, that we have to do when we do an external one. Okay, that is always going to be an external number range. Alphanumeric numbers are not internal numbers.
okay?
Okay,
प्रॉब्लम
yes,
ना है नहीं आ रहा बड़ा वन
we'll see that as well.
जीरो मुखलिस डेटा बस
I'm
स्वयं
pressing
पूरी है
enter. I believe it
वहाँ
is
से डेटा
available.
मत वाले मान पहले से जान चलो
And what we will do is I'll just
येलो स्लॉट
this
में
is
ये ना
available.
बीजो
Now remember,
बीजो सी
while
नो
we
में
were, I mean, now first of all let us do this.
इंडिकेटर मुकल जाएगा
I'll just save it.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ
Now,
ರಿಸೀವರ್ ನ
what I have
ಐಡೆಂಟಿ
done is
ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ
from the
ನಾವು
material type point of view, I have just go ahead and
प्रॉब्लम
went ahead and just went ahead and let the okay, I created a group and I assigned a number range within it, created a number range within it. Now the next step
रिसीवर एड्रेस
for
मुकल
me is
लेकिन
to
अपने प्लानर मुकल
assign
असsign
assign element to this
हमें
group.
भी लिखने जरूरत नहीं
So I'll just, where is my RM extends? This is extend RM extends. I'll bring the cursor to my RM extends once. Yeah, over here, and
डेटा रेट मैनेजमेंट में प्रॉब्लम है सारे जाने के डेटा जाने का समय हम जो कि बता 100
let me
किलोबाइट
just search. Now our group is already created. Okay, if I double click on the group, I can see the group. Now if you see, no material type has been assigned to the RM extends as of now. Like, no material type is currently assigned to RM extends.
तो घबरा तो
We
देरी
have to first of all go ahead and assign our material type to this. This is nothing but ZXRM.
one problem with
Let me
synchronous
search
video
ZXRM
is
over here. Okay.
three strategies of their combination
Now
can
now
be
we'll search ZXRM.
synchronous video
मल्टी
multi
लेवल मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग मल्टी स्लॉट मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग नंबर प्लस फुल स्टफिंग
First of all, we search ZXRM
जो है
and then we'll
मल्टी
click
लेवल
on this thing, assign
मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग
element to group.
એમાં એવું
Let it
થાય કે
run.
હવે કહેતા કે મંજિલ જો બધા 100 કિલો વર્ષના ડેટા મોકલે છે પણ એવું પોસિબલ બી નથી હવે મેબી બની શકે કારણ કે કોઈ પહેલા બે યુઝર હોય 20 ના મોકલતા હોય અને આ બધું 40 ના મોકલે છે તો એટલી વાર આનો ભરવો પડે બધા
Sometimes really
આનો ભરવો પડે 20 વડે ભરવો પડે આનો તો 20 કિલોમીટર મોકલી દીધો ડેટા પહેલા બીજાએ મોકલી દીધો હવે આ જે મોકલવાનું ચાલુ જ છે તો એટલી વાર આવે પડે ક્યાંથી આવ્યું બંને ઓલી ઊભી રહે ને એટલે ભાઈ આનો વેઇટ કરતા 40 કિલોમીટર ડેટા જલ્દી મોકલી નથી દેતા હવે ઓકે એટલે બહુ થાય છે હા પણ આપણને ચાલુ છે કે બંને ઓલી એ તો મોકલાવી નથી એનો કરતા 20 કિલોમીટર છે અને મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સ કરીને ચાલુ જ બનાવી નાખતા એટલા જાણે કે પહેલા ટાઈમ માટે 20 કિલોમીટર પહેલો યુઝર એક્ટિવ રહે છે તો પહેલા મોકલતા બીજો મોકલતા 40 બધા 40 તરીકે એમ બની ગયો એટલે પહેલા જેવું જ થઈ ગયું હવે
तो जरा पहला मोकलता જ નહીં આવે
કેવી રીતે મોકલતો
તારે 40 સીબીપીએસ કેવી રીતે થશે
what is the
બીજો તો 20 સીબીપીએસ જ મોકલશે
wait over here?
ત્યારે માર્ક્સમાં આઉટપુટમાં 40 સીબીપીએસ એકવાર શાંતિથી વિચાર ના થાય
Now let's go. the assignment note part.
उड़ता तो कहीं चुरा तो बीएस लोड
Okay,
बने
I'll
ना
go through again logistic general, material master, basic settings, material type, number ranges, uh, material type. Now we'll go to group, in group, and we'll search our material type, that is ZXRM, which is nothing but what come over here. Now I'll click on assign element to group. We have the material type, we have the material number range group, which we have done. We are going to the material type and we are just assigning it to the number range group which we have, which is
अगला टाइम
nothing
पे
but your
बेबे डेटा
uh,
निकले था
RM extens J1,
डेटा
J1
है तो
RM
डबल
extens.
अपने ही गया ना
Okay. So if we now search extens, you would see that we have a material type here. So pink items are groups, white items are material type. I
ऊपर
can
वाला
have
जैसे
multiple material types
20
in this
किलोमीटर
thing. I
ऊपर
can have one material type as
आगे 20 किलोमीटर ऊपर
well. Okay. Getting my
आगे
point,
एक
guys.
सेकंड के साइड तो હવે આ 1 સેકન્ડ ની
Yeah.
અંદર સમજતો છે 20 ને 20 હતો
Now let me just
1
say this.
સેકન્ડ માં આની પાસે તો બંને આવી ગયું છે
Similar to this, let us try to create one more group and let us try to go ahead for your packing one. Okay. Let me just
40
save it.
કિલોમીટર 1 સેકન્ડ ની અંદર આ
Okay, I'll
સોર્સ
just
છે ના
create one more
ડેસ્ટિનેશન
group, guys. Okay,
નહીં
this
પહોંચી
is
હા
PM
એ
extends.
પહોંચી બીજું 40
Extends.
બીજું 40
Okay,
સેકન્ડ
we'll keep it as
હવે
J2.
ઉપર વાળા આવ્યા કે
Okay,
બે 20 20
and
બીટ ના
over
થાય
here
હવે 20 की
we'll
20 ની સ્પીડ મોકલી ના શકો
we had used
આથી તારે
999.
મારો ડેટા જશે ક્યારે નહીં જાય એવું મને ખબર ના પડે એક ની અંદર તો થઈ જાય
I hope you guys are getting the
એટલા માટે
point
હું
that I'm trying
કે
not to
20
consume a
kbps માં
lot
જે
of
બે છે
this thing.
એનો મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સ
Uh,
મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સ
numbers,
એટલે જો
and that's the
20
reason
kbps માં થાય છે
instead
20
of
ને
the
20
ones which were
કિલોબીટ
there
આવી તો
earlier,
વેટ 1
I am
સેકન્ડ ના અંદર
using
મારી
this.
પાસે એટલે 1 સેકન્ડ
I
ના અંદર
don't
મને
want
40
people
કિલોબીટ
to
તો મળી જ જાય
like you
1
guys
સેકન્ડ
to
ના અંતે
suffer.
એક વાયરે
Otherwise, you won't
20
find
કિલોબીટ
success
આપી
with
દીધી
these numbers
બીજા
actually.
વાયરે 20 કિલોબીટ આપી દીધી
And I want you to
હવે 1
see.
સેકન્ડ ના અંતે મને 40 કિલોબીટ તો મળી જ જાય છે
Now
બસ
that
એને
we have created,
એક ફોર્મ ની અંદર
I'll just
કન્વર્શન
go
આગળ
to
કરો એ
ZXPM
કામ આપે
and say I'll just assign it to your
अचानक कहता है कहानी पहला नहीं बता रहा था
expense one.
मल्टी स्लॉट बीएस स्लॉट करना इसका 25 25 वाला
હમ
लड़दा स्लॉट માટે મુકું છે પછી આ
J2.
મુકું
J2
છે પહેલા બે બે दिन से आना
So basically packing is, so if I now search ZXPM, you can see that ZXPM is within your J21. So now when I'll be creating uh,
20 50 50 ને કઈ રેન્ડમ
46 છે
shift,
4 બીજન
so it would start from this and it would go to this. Let us just go ahead and see what exactly. Let us try to create one material with just some basic stuff. Okay. Now, in order to create a material in fact will be in the next session tomorrow. I'll just show you a lot of different things for that. Shall I show the external and everything tomorrow itself? Or you want to keep it, or you want to, you guys to continue, you want me to continue, guys?
ના
You
લખે
can
કેવો
say.
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay. Okay. What I'll do is, guys, I'll just create one material. The other concept I'll show you tomorrow itself. It will take time. I'll just create one material then. Okay, and I'll just show you both of you guys that
Yeah,
when
so
we go
just
ahead and
just show the basic things.
just when we go ahead and select the material type, how the number changes. Okay. Yeah. So T code for a material is always manual. When you would be doing testing and everything, it would be MM01. MM01 is create material. MM02, okay, is change material, and
એક વીક કેરેક્ટર્સ પર સેકન્ડ એક વીક
MM03
માં 250 કેરેક્ટર
is display material. And when I'll be explaining you the other views and the concept of how master data is gonna be
B,
created.
what is the T code for extend material?
It is MM01 only. Okay.
No, no, to extend material in other plant.
No, no, it is MM01 only. I'll explain you that as well. Okay, MM01 is always gonna be it's create and extend, but extension concept I'll be explaining to you tomorrow how it works. Okay,
Okay.
create and extend material, create and extend material.
Each source.
each source one is added. Same.
So let us go to MM01. Okay. Now, always remember there are some certain industry sectors related things which SAP has done. Okay. So basically, uh, I mean, every industry sector has a lot of different kind of basically uh, solutions and everything SAP has prepared. Okay, so as per the industry which is gonna be, for example, if you are implementing it for a chemical or something like that, your all your materials are gonna be created in your industry sector as chemical. Okay. Similarly, pharmaceutical and all these things are there. There are some standard ones which are already there, which we normally use. We don't create a industry sectors because industry sectors are not something which
Open
we are
data.
actually worried about.
Divide by
These are
this
nothing but
type.
SAP is the standard defined sectors.
Duration से
Why?
ज़्यादा अपना
Because what SAP
एक
works
बीट
is
मेरी
SAP
दुनिया
doesn't
तुमने
really
लाभ भी
go
करनी
ahead
है.
and do the coding and prepare software in a way that normally softwares are created. SAP has done a lot of research. SAP has its own business
Mood बनता है
consultants who are understanding the various businesses and all these things. On the basis that they are doing coding. So some
मेरे को
in
जब
aerospace industries there could be
यहाँ से
certain
निकले
specific
समझ रहे
data
हो
which we might not require in
हमारा
chemical
खाना चाहिए
industries and all these things. So that's the reason SAP says that if whatever is that your client is working for whatever is this company is working for, that particular industry sector has to be selected. For example, we are going for chemical. There is over here it might be
फ्रेम रेट
possible
ना
that
तुमने पूछी
people
होगा
might have
परमानेंट
created,
फ्रेम
but
रेट
don't get
आपने
concerned
सब
about
पूछे
the
थे
industry sectors. That doesn't really change anything. Okay.
ए
Now this
भाई
is where
अबे तो
your
बात करते हैं
thing
ना
would come, guys. Material type. Okay. Material type. It is ZX RM. I'll select
ये
it
इधर भी तेरे
and I'll press
नहीं
enter.
हाँ कैरेक्टर्स
Let me
क्यों नहीं
just
दे रहा
only
होगा
select the basic
मतलब
data
किधर
one
नहीं
over
दिख
here,
रहा
and then
कैरेक्टर
I'll explain you tomorrow what is creation and what is different between creation and
चार से
extension.
देना
Okay. So did you guys
कैरेक्टर
see
उनके लिए
automatically system has
एक के
kept
अंदर चार
has
हाँ
taken
भाई
one material number?
कैरेक्टर बहुत सही
Where it took from? System went ahead and saw it.
200%
This guy has selected material type as
फ्रेम रेट
ZXRM.
है ना तो क्या
And what
चाहिए
is the
250
numbering that is been assigned? It is an internal
हाँ क्या
numbering.
अरे
And
भाई
where it starts from? It starts from this. Okay. So this is where it comes from. So it has taken this thing. Getting my point, guys?
Yes.
सब बता फ्रेम रेट नहीं है ना
Now let us go ahead and create isopropanol. Let us take a
बस
material
वो बता दुनिया
isopropanol.
फ्रेम
Okay.
नहीं है
Okay. Now some I'll just for now I'll just
8 फीट का
explain some
कैरेक्टर है
and even
हाँ
normally these
इधर
I'll just
8
explain this.
नहीं अबे जो 8
You
फीट
will
भी तो
always see
अभी तो
description
एक नहीं पाने के
is
लिए
nothing but the
2000
name of
बीपीएस
the material. So whatever the
2000 बीपीएस
code of the material is there or something like that, you have to go ahead and take it into the
और फ्रेम
description.
रेट पूछ
Okay, so that is
फ्रेम रेट ना पूछ
isopropanol.
ये लोग हम
Let's say
कहने
suppose
तो 4
isopropanol we have a material name
एक
is
फ्रेम में
isopropanol.
अंदर एक बीट जाएगी
Now base
and
unit of
one
measure. So this is the
synchronizing
unit
bit
of measure
is
in
added
which
to each
material is measured within our industry. So when
बीट
it
रेट
comes,
पूछ बीट
what
रेट
will be
मीटर कोला फ्रेम
how
रेट ना
we are
पूछ
going to
ना
be measuring the stock
फ्रेम
of
नो
it,
क्या
100 liters
नहीं
or
फिर 100
100
लग
kg.
सकता
Okay,
है भाई
so in it's a liquid. Let's say suppose it's liter. Okay, then there would be the material group. So material group, whatever the material group
ये
classification which you had
किलोमीटर है
wanted for that particular thing. So for
एक
example, this is your
किलो
nothing but your Z. What was the material group which we had created
फ्रेम रेट लगे तो
for
कैरेक्टर क्लियर करते हैं इसका
एक
ZX
फ्रेम
ना
RM
ये
or XRM or
फ्रेम
something
रेट
like
की
that
तो
I
है
have
ना
selected.
8 बीट कैरेक्टर
And
पर सेकंड
XRM
क्रिएट करना
क्या हो गया
liquid material. Okay. Okay.
बस सोर्स नहीं आज से
तो
Okay.
सोर्स का टाइम पीरियड है
This is
ना
also
लाइक
one of the important tools, but where it comes into
सोर्स
picture,
में
I'll
गलत
tell
है
you. Okay. So
250 8
initially,
डिफरेंट
I mean,
कैरेक्टर
when
पर
you go
सेकंड
ahead and
करा
do,
मगर
okay,
कैरेक्टर ना क्या
when you
मला
go
मला
ahead
बीट
and
ना पड़ो पास तो तारी बीट થઈ છે જેને કેરેક્ટર
um,
વિશે કઈ ખબર
when
નથી
you
એક તો ખબર છે કે
uh,
2000 ડિટેલ્સ
while
કેવી ડેટા છે
you do
आपण
an
एक
implementation,
सेकंड
remember,
मध्ये एक बीट
in
कैरेक्टर
the
मोकले છે
initial
नहीं
days, I
टाइम
mean,
पीरियड
as I had
से
explained
क्या
you,
एक सेकंड में एक बीट
there are,
कैरेक्टर मोकले
I
2000
mean,
बीट
the
मोकले
client is going to be
एक
transforming from
सेकंड
their current ERP to the new ERP.
250 गुणिया
Okay.
8 बीट
So
मोकले
what they
250
want
कैरेक्टर मोकले
normally, what the people want is from the initial days, or in the initial days, they want that there should be in the SAP materials. Okay, there should be some the previous materials which were there. Let's say suppose that I was using a file system, or I was using Oracle. In Oracle, this isopropanol was created with ISO 01. Okay, so normally when we go for implementation, it is an ask from the client that we want a field where we can store our previous related ERP material number as well for the some for certain time. Why? Because they would be giving stock and all the related details at the time of go live in the previous ERP related material number. Okay, so they would be giving it in
ऐसा
that
नहीं
way.
होता है ना
So
भाई
we have
आपने
to
ऊपर
kind
बोला
of
है कि
on
वन
the file we have to get it
सिंक्रोनाइजेशन
coded by a wrapper that this is how the stock and
पार्टी
everything
बदल
is
दी
going to be from the old material, get the new material and upload the stock. That is the
हाँ
different thing.
फ्रेम
But
रेट
I
टू
hope
सोर्स
you
का
are
मतलब
getting my
बीट क्या
point
है
that
फ्रेम से अगर क्या
when we
है
are
गुणन बीट
transitioning
रेट
from the
का
previous
गुणन
ERPs,
बीट
there is
रेट
always a ask from the
फ्रेम से
client
अगर क्या है
that
गुणन
for
नहीं
some days
करते
we want that the old material is there should be a
हाँ
field
मतलब दिला का
in
ना
which
तो बेड
where
है
we
तो
can enter one of our
मैंने वो काम किया था
current
मैंने तो
ERP
देते हैं
material
इसको
number to the new SAP created ERP material number, so that
निकले
we
जाए
can
निकले
our
जाए हाथ
users
से
are
आपको हाथ
able
से
to
लिखे हैं ना
basically
पिक कर
see
लिया
that as well, and they are able to kind of see the
इंग्लिश
reference
वाला
that
प्लीज प्लीज
because normally people are used to
250
that
करता हो
previous code,
250 प्रमाण
so
जो
they
So,
might not know the
Abhi,
new code and all
if
these things.
we create a mass material, then is there an option to give a reference to old material numbers?
गुड नाइट
Yes, yes,
गुड
there is
नाइट
an option. It's all up to the way
गुड
we
नाइट
get it
गुड
designed by
नाइट
our
कहाँ
wrapper.
कहाँ
Okay,
लेकिन हुआ ठीक है
so
तो वो इम्पोर्टेंट
it's always the
गुड
way
नाइट
where we
गुड
how
नाइट
we
डीसी
get our
डीसी
coder to design the program.
I
Okay,
saw I saw one T code on the internet that is
तेरा
called
पता है तेरा पता है
LSMW.
पता है तुम्हें
yes, that
20
can
मिनट
also be
माना
done.
नहीं हुआ पता है
Yeah.
But yeah, that can also be done. But that is a different thing. I mean, basically, uh, that is uh, that is a whole process itself in order to go ahead and create LSMW can be used as well. But we normally take these. So, I mean, when we deliver the projects, we normally go ahead and deliver such smaller programs to the people, to our client. Why? Because the thing is, I mean, these LSMWs and all these things are not that user friendly for the user, for the end users actually.
So a paper will create the separate programs.
Yeah, they can actually. They easily normally can. And normally, in even LSMWs are not used that much today. Today they use LTMC. There's a separate tool in itself, browser-based tool, which is being used by the clients.
So will you show it by tomorrow? Please.
No man, I mean that is not a part of the code. Yeah, so that cannot be done because I'll tell you why. I mean LTMC actually, yeah, for LTMC to be executed. Okay, so these are new tools which have come in S4HANA. Okay, uh, from long time LSMWs and used to be done and all these things used to be done. For efficiency now people SAP has delivered tools called as LTMC, which is nothing but legacy transfer and migration cockpit, which we call it as. So it is used in order to do in an implementation the legacy. I mean all the transfers and all these things. Legacy is nothing but the data which is coming from your previous ERP. We call it as legacy data. So there are a lot of details, open POs and everything that can be done. And it is a separate browser-based tool which has to be configured by even by the basis and every guys, so that SAP can, I mean, connect with the browser, and from browser we can upload things and come into SAP, and all these things can be done. That is a different thing in itself. Okay. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Now old material number, that is done. Now over here, if you can, I mean, important thing that has to be, I mean, there could be certain something called as basic data text. Okay. Now it is possible that is isopropanol. Okay. Now our client wants that in the documents and all these things. I mean, they want certain specific whole doc. I mean, when they want to maintain certain specific. Let's say suppose they want to maintain certain specific chemical formula related to isopropanol and certain something related, so that once it is maintained over here, it gets adopted in PO, PR, and other things. So all these things can be maintained in your basic data text, or if it is maintained in the forms, in the printouts and everything which are going to be prepared by the adapter, they can be taken it from over here. So basic data text and all these things are the long text which you would be maintaining. Let's say suppose isopropanol chemical formula we want to maintain, C3H12, O22 and all these things. So we can maintain and all the various related details over here. Getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, and it's you can also maintain in it in various different text languages. So French and all these things. So if you are going for, I mean, if even in if a company's plants are also gonna be in Hungary, France, or other, I mean, other areas, they and this same material is gonna be used on those plants. They have to, I mean, in their purchase order they would be needing that the text should come from this thing, so they can maintain it over here as well. Okay, with languages and everything, and same is the case for your this thing as well, guys. Description, a description isopropanol, it can also be maintained in various languages. So if a company is working and is having plants in various areas where different languages, I mean, you can get it maintained in such things as well. Getting my point, guys?
Yes.
Yes. So, okay, we can leave basic data to not that much used as such, not much which is there in implicit. But these are the most important things which any material ever created should have. This thing, at least this and this. If those are not there, no material can ever get created. Okay. Now, if I save, it would create one material. If I go to ZXPM, okay, click on ZXPM. Now you would see could you see? I mean that it it took. Can you see the number which it has taken?
Yeah. Reference from the.
Yes. Yes. So this is how material type comes into picture. Now all this is happening because it is an internal numbering. Tomorrow when we are going to be seeing the external numbering, I would be showing you that okay, how it is going to be behaving, and some parameters at the material type which controls, which has a controlling factor at of internal material. Okay, fair enough, guys. We'll just stop right over here as of now.
Recording stopped.
Okay,
Okay. So what will be the timings
fair
for
enough,
tomorrow?
guys.
Hello.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough, guys. Tell me, I mean,
What will be the timings for tomorrow?
tomorrow we'll have to keep it same way. I guess. And, yes.
I don't know if it's not better for us to start
Yeah.
with
My
uh,
time.
yeah, because starting at 8 p.m. will will allow me to do something that I have no problem. So that if we are going through, I don't know because I don't know if you have problem starting by 8 p.m. In your times, in your times.
I know.
हाँ
But
frequency बेल का नहीं आई
this
सेकंड
thing is a concern, man.
Because starting for example 8 p.m. on Saturday is we're going to be starting by 8:30 no times on Sunday. There is not a problem. Then Saturday because we go the finish time. I don't know if it can be proven for you or you feel no problem.
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking of the timing in terms of that
कारण की आउट
only.
सिग्नल एक पॉसिबल है दो दो
8 p.m. you are talking about, and Dhaval, you are talking about taking it in the morning, I guess.
ये वो अप्रोक्सीमेट
Yeah.
वेदन अप्रोक्सीमेट हो गया मगर तो दिखाई तो परेशान करते हैं
Dhaval's morning would be when your our morning when would be your
Midnight.
midnight.
And if it's just starting just like last week now, that means that around
Ben, how early can you join in the morning? so we can, so we
What is
can.
the time difference then, Ben?
I think 5 hours.
is
5 hours.
5 hours,
is
yeah.
no is
Five.
now is means 6:49.
Uh, it's 6:49 as of now. That is
6:20
6:30. That is
6:20
around
p.m. 6:20 p.m.
6:20.
20
Okay.
minutes
That,
past 6. Okay.
that is
20.
that is almost around
हीट लेवल कैसे है
I
वहाँ
would say 4:30, 4 hours 30. Double 4 hours
Yeah.
30 minutes difference. If we start
Yeah.
at 9 in our morning, Double has to be available at
No,
5:30.
no, no. Maybe I never explained myself very well. Just we have to start 30 minutes before. You
I know
understand?
that.
If we start in at 2 p.m. So then there would be like 11 in the
We
morning.
maintain, we maintain maybe the hour that we started the last week. Just the same hour for the last week that we do. Is it possible?
So guys, let me just think it over. Dhaval, we'll figure
Yeah.
it out. Okay, not from even. I mean, let's try to do it. I mean, for a date. But Dhaval, after in the next week till the next week, we'll figure it out. We'll manage in some that or the other
So
that it's okay to both of us.
that will be good. So if you figure it out as early as possible, because
Yeah,
it
man.
because it's ruining my Sundays.
So
Yeah,
tomorrow,
man.
so
Uh,
tomorrow, so tomorrow by which time we meet?
8, 8, 8,
8, 8,
एक
8,
फ्रेम नहीं अंदर जाता है ना
8 or 8:30?
ठीक है फिर
8, 8, 8.
Okay.
8 sharp.
8,
11 जाते हैं
8:30,
आठ
you
हजार
are having an
संपर्क
issue,
कर
na? That's
सकें
the reason we are
एक फ्रेम
keeping you
अंदर
late. You, as
8.
you were told.
आठ
So
हजार
Yeah,
the
8
रुपये
8:30.
sharp.
जाते
Yeah, 8 sharp, guys.
8.
Okay.
आठ हजार
Okay.
रुपये
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, it's good. Okay. By 8. Okay.
Fair enough, guys. I'll be uploading this and telling Pooja to share you the link as well. Okay. So
Okay.
tomorrow, if you guys get time, well, I believe you will get time. You can take time, or I don't think so. Maybe you would be spending time on this at least in the weekend.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
fair enough,
yeah,
guys.
okay.
I'll upload and you can do
Yeah.
that. So, but you'll have the week to practice. Okay, fair
Okay.
enough,
Yes.
guys.
So
Bye
yeah,
bye.
see you tomorrow.
Bye bye. See you
Yeah, see
tomorrow.
you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Yeah, bye. Bye.
कहीं का
एक ट्रेन में निकला मीटर से
पानी का ही हो पानी का पी लो
आपला 88 किलोमीटर
आणि अंदर 64 BTS एक ट्रेन
8 दर वाला 8 मिनट से एक 8 मिनट
एक बार मैं नहीं करा 8 8 8 8
वो कर रहा है डेली टेबल માંથી 8 બીટ નો ડેટા આવ્યો હતો એક ફ્રેમમાં રોહિત ભગવાન યાદ હે આઈ વો નો પર 8 બીટ નો ડેટા આવ્યો અમેરિકમાં કોડ કોડ કર્યો હતો રીને 8888 24 9 હા હા आई थिंक जो मैं बीट लिखता था 24 गुणिया 8 कर કેટલા 112 एक फ्रेम में